Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Bujur Rita. I am as a moderator in this discussion. It is a great pleasure for me to guide this discussion. And before we start our discussion today, I'm going to introduce the presenter. His name is Adham Adyatma. He is from Malang and he is a college student from State University of Malang, Department of English Language and Literature. In this presentation, Adam will discuss about 1001 Voice, rereading Scheherazade in contemporary Arab American fiction. Okay guys, we're gonna to prepare ourselves to hear Adam's presentation. And Adam, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the introduction before Rita. So today I want to talk about rereading Scheherazade in contemporary Arab American fiction, which originally written by Claudia Renette Goncalves from Universidade Federal de Minas Gerais and Claudio Braga from Universidade de Brasilia. So let's get started. Okay, first the background. Arab American people are not the object of Middle East studies. It only focus on the people in the Middle East itself than the diaspora. However, in fact, the Arab American descendants have a big number in the society and active culture with the reveal of their literary production. They reread the Arab literary traditions from new both geographical and cultural perspective. Then, however, when many schools and colleges start to include works by Latinos or Latin person, the and by the work by Arab American literatures still get a little attention and only studied in a few schools. The schools in question are particularly those in the areas where there are large Arab community life, such as Greater Detroit, parts of California, and upstate New York. Despite being relatively little known by the society, the body of Arab American literature itself showing their growth back to the beginning of 20th century. The early writers of Arab American descent formed a league known as the Al-Mahdiriyah, whose key supporter was the well-known Khalil Gibran. Their works were mostly bilingual and keep their heritage in the literature. They live in a society that approved of assimilation, which explains the number of autobiographical pieces about their successful integration with the mainstream American society. Khalil Gibran, and his work The Prophet earned the Mahriyar writer's recognition and paved the road not only for tradition of Arab American poetry but also for other genres. I'm sorry. However, after this initial phase, Arab American writing and its publication slowed down in the decades that followed, only to gain as a result of the early 1970s in the part of minority movements such as the civil rights. In one hand, Khalil Gibran work have earned recognition from the Mahria writers. In the other hand, the Arab American female writers are still trying to do away with the stereotypical image of Arab women largely disseminated in the Western media and the arts in general. Then the Arab American writers operate a kind of essentialization, that is, their works offer gender representation that virtually oppose disseminated stereotype of Arab peoples. To discuss more about the works of Arab American people, we can revisit and revise a figure of Scheherazade from the Thousand and One Nights, a classic literature work of Arab peoples. Then, who is Scheherazade? Scheherazade is an important figure in Thousand and One Nights literature work. Scheherazade tells the story of a night to the king, but never quite finished it, leaving the king curious about the outcome until the night of Thousand and One. Scheherazade, doing this to avoid her for being executed by his husband Shahryar or the king, after the oath he makes that he will marry every new virgin and kill them on the next day. But in the end, Shahryar finally falls in love with Scheherazade. Okay. In the growth of Arab American contemporary fiction that features Scheherazade most prominent in the American community, we can say an example such as West of the Jordan that written by Laila Halaby. The story narrated by four different women characters which are Hala, Khadija, Soraya, and Mawar. They four are cousins and tell their stories from different point of view, but Mawar become an important point here that they pick a figure of contemporary Shahrazad which telling her own story and a little story of her cousins. The other example that shows a figure of Scheherazade in the contemporary fiction can be found in the works of Mohia Kaf, The Girl in Tangerine Scarf 2006. This novel highlights the part when the protagonist Khadra Sami that takes on and off her hijab as she negotiates her particular condition. Here, it shows uh, the custom clothes that used by the Arabians, and hijab become the pinpoint, the highlighted part of the clothes. Then, in the Gregorian or finals, the chandelier depicts a male figure of Scheherazade who tells us the story of hunger during wartime in Lebanon. Finally, the conclusion, although the Arab American writer isn't highly supported by the mainstream American community, but they can show to us where if they can make popular fiction which please the American reader and not leaving their custom as Arab American descendant. Okay, that's from me. Thank you. And here's the citation for is this ready for the writer, and that's all from me. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay, guys, that's about the presentation of rereading Scheherazade in contemporary Arab American fiction. So now I'm going to make the conclusion. Well, although despite being relatively little known by the society, the body of Arab American literature showing their growth back to the beginning of 20th century, and they were willing to try to show that their works or their literature will be popular. Okay, guys, that's all. Thank you so much for your attention and have a great day.